Good morning, students. Welcome all of you for today's class. Today we will continue the last topic in the chapter Principles of Management. So last days we discussed on different principles given by Henry Fayol and F.W. Taylor. So Henry Fayol was given principles of general management and F.W. Taylor was given principles of scientific management. And today we are going to discuss on some of the techniques of management, scientific management, which is given by F.W. Taylor. So already we discussed on Taylor everything. So his history and all we discussed. So directly we'll go to the techniques. What are the techniques he contributed or he suggested? So different techniques are there. So first is functional foremanship, next standardization and simplification of work, then method study. Under method study, fatigue study, time study, motion study. So four types of studies are there. These four types of studies coming under work study. Okay. Then differential pace rate system. So these are the techniques. So why to adopt some techniques? First you think about that. So techniques means, for better performance, to do something in a better way. So apart from normal thinking, we can have some additional knowledge, or we can have a different way of thinking and we can execute the work. That is called what? Techniques. So here for Taylor also suggested some techniques to improve the performance of the factory system of organization. So already I told you, Taylor suggested all the techniques for factory level workers and improvement of the performance of factory system. So first techniques what we are going to discuss is functional foremanship. So functional foremanship means, foreman means, he is coming in the lowest ranking manager and the highest ranking worker. So he is in the lowest level. When we take the levels of management, top level, middle level, lower level, so he is coming in the lower level, but amongst the workers he is the superior. So this foreman, we can have different classification for this foreman's work. That is what Taylor suggested. So here planning and implementation needed. So for planning some people we need, for the implementation of work we need some people. So we cannot mix these both planning and implementation, and if we execute it, then there will be some problems. So what Taylor suggested was, you can have a different set of people for planning and a different set of people for production. So that is what he suggested. So we will see what it is. Okay. So here this paragraph also, that only they are saying. So function foremanship through 8 persons under respective heads. That is what I told you, planning in charge and production in charge. So here you can see planning in charge. Here planning in charge, this. Okay, just a minute. Planning, sorry. Okay. Planning in charge and production. Okay, better not to do that. Planning in charge, there are four personnel, namely instruction card clerk, route clerk, time and cost clerk, disciplinarian. So four categories. So people under planning in charge, and production in charge also another set of people. They are, or workers, speed boss, gang boss, repair boss, and inspector. So these are the people. Understood? No? So we better no. We will go to the diagram and I'll clarify you. Okay, so here you can see factory manager. It is classified into planning in charge and production in charge. Under planning in charge, time and cost clerk, route clerk, instruction card clerk, then disciplinarian. These are there. And under production in charge, speed boss, gang boss, repair boss, inspector. So these are the people under different these two categories. Okay. Now what is the job of these people will discuss. Okay. Time and cost clerk. So from the name itself you can understand what is the job of time and cost clerk. So he has to see whether the employees are completing the particular work in a within the time given to them. And cost clerk, so cost clerk has to see, he has to see what, according to the prescribed cost method, or everything the production is completed within the cost determined by the management. Then root clerk. So what is the, so this over root clerk. So root clerk, what is the job? Root clerk show the route of production. So how many routes are there, so how many processes are there to produce a product, that particular routes he will clarify. And otherwise we can say from the raw material to finish the product there may be a journey for the product. So for raw material we put in one machine, and then next process, another process, like this. When it reach to the final stage, how many routes are there, so that he will be explaining. Then instruction card clerk. So instruction card clerk, what is his job? He give instruction to the workers. So timely instructions is required in every organization. Also in factory also they made a setup like this. Then disciplinarian. So disciplinarian, you know, so overall discipline of the factory system is maintained under his control. Okay, next is speed boss. So speed boss what will do? Speed boss will see whether the work is completed within the limited speed or within the limited time. Timely completion of task he will take care. Then gang boss from name you may not understand. So gang boss means he will keep the machines and tools ready for the workers. So keep everything ready. That is what gang boss. Then repair boss means repair boss ensure proper working condition of the machine. So he has any repairs, maintenance is required, he can do that and keep everything ready in working conditions. So that is what repair boss. Then next is inspector. So inspector, you know, inspector will check what here, he will check the quality of the work done. So how the quality of the work done by each worker, that the inspector will be checking. So these are the 8 bosses under this factory manager. So it is classified into first into 2, then different to 4 categories. Understood, no? So this is known as what? Functional foremanship. Okay, so functional foremanship over. Now next one, standardization. So standardization means we have to keep, you know, when we produce a particular product, any product you take, there is a separate size for that, color for that, design for that, length, width, weight, everything predetermined standard is there. So that is called what? Standard. So standardization means for before starting our work we have to fix a particular standard. So for fixed type, sizes, characteristics, color, even the order, everything. So whatever we can features we can see in a product, not only for products, for the people also. And for parts and spare parts, products, manufactured products, etc. So for automobile industries and all, we assemble different parts will be produced in different factories, so we can assemble it. If it is produced under a predetermined standard, then only it can be fixed properly. So quality of materials, quality in materials also we have to ensure. For that also particular standard we have to maintain. Then establish standards of performance of men and machines. So standard performance is expected from men, and machines also need to be standardized. So everything in a factory you can see it is standardized, means expected level of performance from each and everything. That is what standardization. Understood, no? So when otherwise, no, one day we produce one product, one particular product. If you are producing, suppose biscuit, one day we produced with 1 kg wheat, 1 kg sugar, or color, whatever required, everything we put, and required size, everything we determine and produce. But if you change the standard next day, then it will create confusion and you cannot produce the same product in the next day. So whatever product we purchase from the shops, you see, one day you eat one biscuit packet, the next day when it finish you go and purchase next day the same biscuit packet, the same taste will be there, same color will be there. Why it is? Because they already fixed the standard performance for that particular product, whether it is it's a color or order or anything. So for not only for products, for manufactured parts, spare parts, for the quality, for the people, for men, machines, everything, particular standard is there. That is called standardization. Then Simplification means when we standardize, we should not do unnecessary standardization or unnecessary works or unnecessarily load on the working system. That is called what? That we have to eliminate. That is called simplification means, simply I can say what, you have to eliminate all the unnecessary diversity of products. So that is called simplification. If you do that, results in saving of cost, labor, machines and tools. Okay, so it implies reduced inventories, fuller utilization of equipment and increasing turnover. So simplification is that, suppose the capacity of a machine is 50,000 units in one at a time, then in one time you put that 50,000 capacity products in that. Suppose if you put 30,000 first, then you are running the machine for 2 hours, then again you are putting 20,000, then again it has to run for another 2 hours. Understood? So electricity wastage, so time wastage, cost wastage, everything will happen there. So like that, each and everything we can take care and simplify unnecessary works. Okay, next is work study. So already I told you, work study is divided into 4 different studies. In that, first is method study. So what Taylor suggested, before giving work to a particular worker, you have to study the best way of doing that work. Okay, otherwise simply if you assign, suppose a new employee is there, new worker is there, you are not instructing him anything and you are giving him the job, then he will be doing it with his own sense and all intelligence, how he wants to do, that way he will complete it. But ultimately it may cause increase in cost and wastage of time. So the best way of doing a particular work, any work in this world, any organization you take, one simple method will be there. So that should be known to the worker, then only he can perform well, and ultimately it will leads to increase in profit and reduction in cost. So best method of doing work, that is called method study. I'm not reading line by line, this only written there. Okay, next is time and motion study. So time study means, time, particular time also required to perform a work. So time study determines the standard time required to perform a well defined job. So suppose for your examination, 3 hours exam means that is the standard time. So if you take more than 3 hours and if you are completing, then you are inefficient. So within 3 hours if you complete, then it is, you are treated as efficient. Understood? So time study also required. So if the work is assigned to a worker, and worker is working according to his own interest, and whenever he wants to work he is working, whenever he wants to sleep he is sleeping somewhere, if that way it is going on, he will be consuming more time and the work will not be done. So we have to fix a particular time to complete a particular work. That is called a time study. Then motion study. Here motion means movement. So movement, there will be so many movements in an organization: movement of raw material, movement of employees, lifting, putting objects, sitting, changing positions, everything will be there. So unnecessary movements we have to avoid in an organization. That is called what? Motion study. And useful moments to be allowed. Then this also time study, that pictures only. Then next is fatigue study. Fatigue means, people need rest intervals continuously. If you assign work to workers, they will be very tired, and ultimately after 2 3 hours or 5 hours, according to the load of their work, they will be tired, their performance level automatically will go down. So what we have to do, we have to recharge them. So like a battery, when it works continuously, it battery will go down, power will go down. So we have to recharge it to bring it back to the into a good position. So a person is bound to feel tired physically, mentally, she does not rest while working. So if an employee is continuously working, then mental tiredness also will be there, physical tiredness also will be there. So rest intervals needed. So how to decide the rest intervals? All organization we cannot fix same type of intervals, so time rest intervals, and same frequency also. Okay, so the amount and frequency of rest intervals in completing the task that we have to determine. So how many times we have to give rest intervals and the duration of rest intervals, each rest intervals, that also can be fixed in advance. That is called fatigue study. So even for single shift workers also, they should be given what interval, so that they can take their lunch in time, everything. So now you can see some complaints are coming from doctors, nurses and all nowadays, because they are not getting rest intervals during their work. So that and all you can connect with this topic. Okay, now differential piece rate system. Next, techniques. Differential piece rate system means different wage system. Matlab, for the efficient worker you can give a very good remuneration, for the inefficient worker you can give a less remuneration, so that the inefficient worker will try to be like the efficient worker. So that is called what? Differential piece rate system. Actually Taylor suggested this for all the factory level workers. You know, whenever quality is important, when quality is important, time we cannot consider. So that type of work and all, sorry, not time, when unit cannot be considered, time is more important there. So how much time consumed by the employee, that only we can take care to calculate his wages or salary. Suppose 8 hours work, so 8 hours into rate will be taken. So piece rate system means that is time rate system, what I told now. But piece rate system means how many units produced. Suppose I packed 100 packets per day, so for the 100 packets into 10 rupee per packet means 100 into 10 I'll be getting. So that is called what? Piece rate system. Okay, so time rate system, piece rate system. But this Taylor suggested for the factory level workers piece rate system, so that we can improve their efficiency level. Okay, so this is what written here, what already I explained. Mm, he introduced different rate of wage payment for those who performed above standard and those who performed below standard. So particular standard will keep. Suppose you can keep 200 units per day, that is standard level, means you will be getting 10 per unit, or your performance will go more than 200 level. So 250 you produce, so for all the additional 50 you will be getting 12 per unit, so 2 rupee extra will be getting. So like that, no, below standard, above standard, like that we can classify it, and we can fix the wages. Okay, so just to go through this one. And the differential piece rate system must be based on the premises that efficiency in the result of the joint efforts of managers and workers. So rather than calling over the share in the resultant surplus of the workers, and managers should work in harmony and maximize the output rather than restricting it. So both management and workers have to see whether the employees performance is coming up to the standard, and employees also has to see how I can earn more profit and I can help the management to achieve its objectives of the organization. Okay, next is mental revolution. This mental revolution topic we already discussed. Change in the attitude of workers and management. Cooperation should be replaced by, sorry, competition should be replaced by cooperation. Both should realize that they both need each other. Management should share the surplus. Okay, so management, both people, change in the mental attitude of the workers, both have to consider that each one is important. Okay, now we'll see this Henry Fayol's principles we discussed, and FW Taylor's principles also we discussed now. So now we'll see what are the difference between these people. So Henry Fayol is known as the father of modern management, but FW Taylor is known as the father of scientific management. So scientific management, he is known as the father of modern management. Okay, so he has given 14 principles. He introduced scientific management principles and techniques also he introduced. Okay, then he Fayol given more importance to general theory of administration. He has given general overall idea of this one, but here Taylor has given the concept of scientific management, scientifically how we can approach the work. Then emphasis on top level, already I told you in the previous class, Fayal has given more importance to top level, but Taylor has given more importance to lower level management. Understood? Okay. Then any other difference? Yes, Fayal's principles are universally applicable, but it applies to specialized organizations only. Taylor's principles we cannot apply everywhere, but Fayal's principles are applicable everywhere, universally applicable. Then personal experience is the best. Fayal himself experienced so many principles in the organizations, that is why, or he felt the need for principles in the organization, that is why he contributed 14 principles. But Taylor derived all these equations or principles or techniques through his observation and experimentation. He derived it. Okay. Then the system of wage payment is sharing of profit with the managers. So here no, the top level only will be almost only higher authorities will be sharing the remuneration, sorry, the surplus amount, everything. But here wage payment is based on differential payment system, and we can say here he was giving more importance to time rate system, but here Taylor piece rate system he was more given more importance. Understood? So this is only this chapter. And if any doubts you can contact me, you message me and prepare notes. Okay, thank you. Bye, take care.